Hey guys, welcome to Potato Reads Reddit. I'm Potato, and today we have an OP who's wondering if it would be okay to lie about the reason why her and her husband are not having children. Alright, why don't you hit that like and subscribe and that notification bell too if you feel like it. It truly does help out the channel. Also, leave a comment down below. We'd love to hear what you think, or let us know if there's anything else we should be reading, or anything we missed, or other Reddit stories you'd like us to read out. Alright, let's get down to it.
Our first story is from Where's My Serotonin? Would I be the asshole if I lied about my fertility?
Throwaway account because people I know will see it on my own account. On mobile, so formatting not great. So, I'm 28 female, and have been with my partner for 7 years. We both knew early on in our relationship that we didn't want children. I knew from a young age I didn't want any, and always got the old line, you'll change your mind when you're older / when you meet someone. Well, I haven't. The thing is, people keep asking us, when are you guys having kids? We keep telling people we aren't, and they don't seem to believe us. Oh, you'll change your minds, or, you're so good with nephew, you should have your own. They even ask us why. We don't tell them all the reasons, some are quite personal, but we have several reasons for not wanting kids. And I know we shouldn't need to explain or defend ourselves, it's our decision. Now that we're planning to get married, people are asking more and more, and it's not like someone will ask, and we say we're not, and they drop it. The same people will ask repeatedly. Family, friends, and coworkers. They're all at it. I'm not sure why everyone is so invested in our reproductive plans, but quite frankly, it's beginning to feel like we're cattle they're trying to breed. Particularly when it's my mother, who is obsessed with us having kids, as if that's our only purpose. Anyway, I'm getting sick of it. I'm considering next time someone is pestering me just telling them we have fertility issues. As far as I'm aware, this isn't true, but since we're not planning to have kids, it's not really something we've checked out. I feel this might be a problem, as it might seem like I'm making light of people with such issues. However, my hope would be that the initial shock of the comment might stop them asking and get them to actually consider what they're doing. As I'm sure they probably do this to other people, I know several people that actually do have fertility issues, and being asked this stuff as often would be an annoyance and upsetting to them. I just want these people to keep asking to leave us alone with our reproductive, or lack of, desires, and start thinking about what they're actually asking and saying. I can understand people asking once, do you have kids? Are you planning to have kids? But repeatedly and not accepting the answer, it's just making me feel like garbage, and like they think we're not worth anything beyond what drops out of us. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I feel it might make me the asshole as it's deceitful and might seem insensitive. I know a couple of people who have some fertility issues, and I don't think they would be more bothered by people continually asking you about your reproductive intentions than they would about you using infertility as an excuse to get people off your back about having kids. So that's where my kind of mind is on that. So I don't think you're the asshole, so I'm going to go with a not the asshole. At the very least, your family and friends are assholes for continually asking you when they know the answer already. So yeah, so not the asshole, your friends and family are being real assholes. Alright, so that's it for the story itself. We're going to move on to the top comments from the post. Get Good Dandy quotes, I was born without a uterus. I am as hollow as an Easter egg bunny and just as cold and dead. Embrace the darkness. Make them suffer, not the asshole. Another user responds to that saying, I'm also a fan of the my bloodline ends with me line. Unit Healthy says, not the asshole, but don't bother. They'll just tell you to use IVF or adopt. All you have to say is, I don't want kids nor do I plan to raise any. Don't engage in all the, but you're so good with X crap. Of course you are. Any decent adult is kind to little kids and animals. Doesn't mean you want any of your own. A user says, this won't work. They'll ask when you're planning to adopt or do IVF or something instead. It also might hurt the people you know who do have those struggles that you lied about. Try putting people in timeout when they ask you from now on if it's a repeat question from them. With increasingly longer periods of time, you won't see or speak to them, maybe? If they won't respect a boundary, they're not entitled to your time. OP responds saying, "Not really plausible to just walk off or ignore people. Some of those people are colleagues we can't avoid, or our bosses." Silly Babbitt says, "Not the asshole, but maybe instead, when they ask their questions, counter with, 'Did you climax the first time you made love?' Or something along the lines of, 'Did you have to have a lot of foreplay to get you in the mood?' When you get the surprised 'oh my gosh' face, simply tell them you thought you were swapping intrusive questions. If they are repeat offenders, then maybe they'll take the hint." Alright guys, that's it for that story and comments. There was one comment I really wanted to read, but it was just too crude and I could not figure out a way to censor it, so if you get a chance, look up the story, read the comment, you will get a real good laugh out of it. And we're going to move on to the next story. The next story was posted by Noticead 2018. Am I the asshole for interrupting my ex-husband's birthday and taking my daughter home because she was there without consent? Me, female 35, and my ex-husband, male 37, got separated 1 year ago. We share custody of our 15-year-old daughter. My ex-husband has her for certain days, and his birthday didn't fall on one of these days. In fact, it fell on one of the days where my daughter is supposed to be with me. He called me so we could discuss letting him have my daughter on the day of his birthday, but I told him no because it is not his day to have her. He got my daughter involved and she said she really wants to go, but I said no because I have my reasons. My ex-husband dropped it, but on the day of his birthday, I went to pick my daughter up from school, but I discovered that he came and took straight to the restaurant where his birthday party was taking place. I was fuming. I called him, but he didn't pick up. I then called my daughter and she said she was with him. I used the location feature to track her phone and got the address. I showed up and interrupted the party. My ex-husband started arguing with me, but I told him he had no consent to have my daughter with him that day, and he said my daughter wanted to be there for his birthday. My former mother-in-law tried to speak to me, and I told her to stay out of it, then told my daughter to grab her stuff because we are going home. My ex-husband and family unloaded on me, and I tried to ignore them and just leave, but my daughter made it hard for me. I took her home eventually and grounded her for agreeing to leave school with her dad when it wasn't his day. Her dad called me yelling about how bitter and spiteful I was to deprive my daughter from attending his birthday. I told him it's basic respect and boundaries, but he claimed it was just me being spiteful and deliberately hurtful towards him, that I didn't even care how it affected my daughter. I hung up, but more of his family members started blasting me on social media, saying I showed up and made a scene at the restaurant. Went as far as calling me unstable. Alright, so instead of a thing that said, why OP thinks they are the asshole, instead the moderators had put a thing asking people to stop using abusive language towards OP, and after reading the story, I kind of understand why that would have happened. This is just everything... OP, everything about this, you are obviously the asshole. You are 100% the asshole from beginning to end of this. But you are the asshole because you're just so bitter. You need therapy. This is one of those occasions where I'm just going to say straight up, you need to go and talk to a therapist because you need to work through this. You have pain that is hurting the people you care the most about. And you need to not do that, OP. That is wrong, and you are definitely the asshole for this. I'm not going to say any abusive language because, just let you may whatever did he cheat on you? Maybe did he hurt you? Maybe who knows? But your daughter loves her father, and that's okay. Even if he's the most terrible man in the world to everybody else, that is still her father. So. Okay, OP, yeah, you're the asshole and you need counseling and you need to let this go. And even worse, enjoy having an estranged child once she turns 18. Because if this is your attitude, she is going to be out of there. I'm estranged from my parents for very different reasons, but they haven't heard from me in 3 years. And you will be in the same situation. You will lose your daughter. So, OP, you need to work on your bitterness and you need to get over this because you are going to lose the things you love the most because of it. And that's what I have to say about that. I'd love to hear what all of you guys have to say down in the comments below. and we're going to move on to some of the comments from the post. Princess Shira says, "You're the asshole. You should have let him have her on the birthday. Why make such a big deal? Yes, your ex shouldn't have picked her up after you said no to the switch, but once he did, you should have let her and dealt with it afterwards. All you're accomplishing now is alienating your daughter. She's 15 and enjoying her time with her dad. Let her." Kitarla Kippens responds to that saying, "Also, no one seems to care that she used Goes to track her daughter. Massive invasion of privacy. She's 15. When I was 15, I had to be home by 10 and let my mom know where I was. But beyond that, I was pretty free. Like, would you stop her from going to a friend's house because it's your night?" Hoo Serene responds to that saying, "A lot of parents don't believe in a child's right to privacy. It's sickening. Edit for clarity. I'm referring to parents who believe a child has no right to privacy to fulfill a power fantasy." I Quite Like Cilantro responds to that saying, "Yeah, I'm 18 and my parents still track me no matter where I go, ask where I'm going and who I'm with." JaXN responds to that saying, "Just turn off the tracking app. You're 18, they have no right to do it." Meow Dorina says, "There really isn't anything wrong with a parent tracking their 15-year-old child. A right to privacy is things like allowing them to get changed and shower behind closed doors, not letting them roam free with no idea where they are. The daughter is a minor and her mother is still legally responsible for her whereabouts." Username Taken93456 responds to that saying, "Of course it's wrong to tag your kid like a migrating antelope. If you have no idea where your kid is, you're a bad parent, and if you solve that problem with a tracking device, you're a lazy parent who's going to raise sneaky kids. Try talking to your kids and teaching them how to be safe when they aren't in your eye line, like every other generation of parent has done." X Ribley quotes, "I have my reasons. Info. Those better be some darn good reasons because until you elaborate, you're the asshole in my book. You hate your ex more than you love your daughter, and you proved it with your actions in this scenario." 3D Yeah says to that, "The last part is so accurate. She hates her ex more than she loves her daughter." Edge Miserable 4381 responds to that saying, "When my ex cheated on me, I divorced, but was still civil and attended kid activities together. When people ask why, I say I love my kids more than I hate my ex. I've never heard anyone else use that phrase until today. Yay, I hope it becomes a mantra." No You 9051 says, "You're the asshole. Your daughter wants to spend her dad's birthday with her dad. How is her attending the party affecting you? As far as I know, custody agreements are negotiable for a day or two. Because I have my reasons. What is/are your reasons?" Alright, I tried to get some more controversial ones on that post, but there really wasn't anyone saying anything to the contrary, at least not in any kind of civil way that I could read on here. So we're going to move on to the next story, which was posted by Plain Blueberry 3512. "Would I be the asshole if I announced my pregnancy? My husband says it would be selfish if I did this, but I don't think I am. My husband has a 15-year-old sister. She was diagnosed with cancer early 2020 and has been getting treatment ever since. 2 weeks from now is her last treatment. His family lives a few states away and we rarely visit them. In 2 weeks we are supposed to fly out to celebrate her last treatment with her. I brought up announcing my pregnancy when we go to visit since we most likely won't be visiting again anytime soon. My husband immediately shut it down and told me it would be a selfish move since we are specifically going out there to visit his sister. We are only staying for 2 days and I feel like that would be the chance to announce my pregnancy since we won't be visiting again. Would I be the asshole if I still announce my pregnancy even though my husband told me not to?" OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. "I'm planning to announce my pregnancy even though my husband told me it would be a selfish move. OP, you're going to celebrate the end of cancer treatment for a 15-year-old girl. This is not the time to announce your pregnancy. Neither is a wedding, neither is a funeral. These are just not appropriate times to announce that you're pregnant. I know you want to, I know you're excited, but you should keep it to yourself until an appropriate time, a week or two at least. Don't steal this 15-year-old girl's thunder. Okay, you're the asshole if you do this. I can't imagine anybody is going to say otherwise. And your husband will probably let you. He's probably going to tell you, no, it's a bad idea, you shouldn't do it. And he'll back you if you do it, because he's your husband. If he's a good husband, he's your husband, he'll back you. But everybody else's anger at you is going to be very justified, and you are going to make yourself look very bad. So you should not do this. Alright, so that's all I have to say on that. Let me hear what you guys have to say down in the comments below, and we'll move on to the comments from the post. Resolute Muse says, "You would be the asshole. You don't piggyback on someone else's celebration and make it all about you. But you are just going to accidentally on purpose let it slip because you are just so excited, and it's no big deal, aren't you? And then when you watch your sister-in-law try to put on a brave face because you just took an incredible milestone from her, you'll tell yourself that it's no big deal, this just makes for twice the joy, and why is your husband looking at you like that? It was an accident and no big deal. Also, chemo often strips a woman of her fertility. Oh yeah, I beat cancer, but I'll never have kids. Good thing sister-in-law was there to announce her own fertility and rub it in my face." Cold Block 5965 responds to that saying, "She does give that vibe off. I bet it will be, I hope my kid is as brave as you. Oh, oops, everyone, I am pregnant," and will act like I was being nice and called her brave but accidentally said it. Ghetto Blaster 78 responds saying, "There will be the celebratory champagne or wine that sister-in-law beat cancer. OP will just say, 'Oh, none for me, thank you,' while nonchalantly placing a hand on her stomach and looking away. Mother-in-law will say, 'Oh, come on, we're celebrating.' Then her smile will change and she will just ask, 'Are you pregnant?' Then it will be over. Everyone will try to be happy that two joyous things happen, but deep down they will know OP is an asshole for piggybacking on this occasion." Spectacular Turtle says, "You would be the asshole. First of all, this visit is not about you or your pregnancy. The visit has a specific purpose, which is celebrating the end of his sister's last treatment. She's been through 2 years of fear and hell. She deserves to have her celebration without you making it about you. Second, you asked your husband and he answered you. Why bother asking if you don't care about his opinions, and you're just gonna go behind his back and do whatever you want anyway? You never visit anyway, so there's no reason announcing your pregnancy has to be done in person anyway, other than for the attention." Crystal Queen 3000 says, "You would be the asshole, absolutely. She's a 15-year-old battling cancer. JFC, I can't even count the ways that this isn't about you. Your husband is right, this would absolutely be selfish. If you do it anyway, be aware that your entire extended family will judge the hell out of you for it, and it'll cause issues with your husband. I mean, seriously, what the heck is wrong with you that you'd even consider doing this?" Alright, that's it for that story. Why don't you tell me what you guys thought down in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next one, which was posted by Financial Ad 1023. Am I the asshole for folding down the pages of a book my friend let me borrow? I, 20 male, am taking a modern literature class this semester for my general education requirements, and I had to buy like 14 novels for it. My university bookstore didn't have the option to rent them, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money on buying books I'm not planning on ever reading again. I asked my friend, who is an English major and has probably at least every book known to man, if she had any of the books I needed, and she had pretty much all the ones that were required. She had taken a more advanced version of the same course, more advanced because it was for actual English majors and not students trying to get through their gen eds. I asked if I could borrow them for the semester, and she agreed. I started reading the first one, and when I would finish at a certain point, I would bend down the top corner of the page just a little so I could remember where my place was. I didn't think this was a really bad thing. I have always seen this done with books if you don't have a bookmark, and once you pick it back up, you put the paper back in place and it's fine. I was studying on campus one day, and I ran into my friend. She came and sat down next to me, and when we were talking and just chilling, and then all of a sudden, she sees the book I am currently reading for class, one of the ones she gave me, and she starts freaking out asking why I bent the corners down. I told her it was just to keep my place, and she starts going through all the corners that had been put down and put back up like, "Look, I can see here, here, and here," and honestly, I thought it was a little dramatic. I understand she likes to keep her books in good condition, but she didn't say I couldn't when she lent them to me, and some of the books even have annotations in them from when she read them, so it isn't like the books are in mint condition. When I told my friend this, she got even more upset and said I should have known and that it is common sense not to put the pages down. I apologized for not knowing, but she wouldn't hear it. She told me she wanted all of her books back, and I tried to tell her I would use a bookmark from now on, but she wouldn't listen at all. Now I have to spend over $100 on some books that will just get tossed or donated after this semester is over. And OP has provided us with a couple of edits that I'm going to read before the comments. The first edit is, I have heard you guys loud and clear. Yes, I have bad book manners. Yes, I am dumb for doing it and not realizing, and I will apologize again and will be replacing the book that I ruined. Lesson learned. I didn't even know that dog earring was a thing until the comments replying to this post. Again, thanks for the feedback. I accept the asshole status, also DA status along with it. I probably will not be replying to very many people from here on out just because the sheer amount of activity that this post has gotten in the last hour alone is very difficult to keep up with. But I do get the gist of it, and I promise I have learned my lesson. Edit. For those of you saying, have you seriously never read a book? Or not understanding how I don't like to read? I understand that if it's something you really like, it's difficult to understand why someone else doesn't do it. I listen to audiobooks and such, but personally, I find it difficult to read, and no, I will not be elaborating on that. I just understand that not everyone can physically enjoy some things like others do. I get I was dumb, and I understand this post makes me sound dumb, but I would appreciate if those kinds of comments stopped. A lot of people don't know what it feels like growing up having difficulties doing something that others can do extremely well. I am stupid, but I'm not stupid because I don't read or that I have difficulties with reading. Again, I am sorry that I ruined my friend's book, and I will be apologizing. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I guess maybe I should have assumed that English majors really like their books, and that I should have asked before just doing it, at least to avoid all this drama, because I really didn't mean to anger her. Okay, OP. At first, before reading your edits, I had in my mind, I don't understand how you could be so disrespectful, and it really had nothing to do with it being books. That's somebody else's property, and you need to return it in the same condition that you borrowed it in. And when you fold a piece of paper, you can never fully get the fold out, which means that you would be returning the book in worse condition. I mean, your edits aside, this person just saved you $100 in books, and you couldn't buy a $1 bookmark? Or pulled a receipt out of your wallet? I mean, yeah, that level of thoughtlessness and disrespect, it's something that loses you friends. After your edits, I'm a little less angry at you, but I'm still pretty upset at the lack of respect you showed your friend, because your friend was being a really good friend, because I know English majors love their books usually more than they love their people. So OP, I'm sorry, your edits don't make up for it. You are the asshole, as you've accepted. So let's move on to some of the comments. No Jellyfish 1208 says, you're the asshole. Have you never heard of bookmarks? Heck, you could have even put a folded piece of paper or a post-it note to know where you stopped reading. A user responds to that saying, a piece of tissue, scrap paper, a string. There's literally no reason why you'd have to fold down the corners of a borrowed book. I sometimes fold down the corners of my own books because I don't personally think it's a big deal, but OP is definitely the asshole in this situation. Tenacious Tiger 666 says, you're the asshole. You don't dog-ear other people's books, WTF. Shy Nerd Next Door responds to that saying, even dog-earing your own books is controversial, but doing it to somebody else's is even more so a clear asshole move. Alright guys, that's it for all the stories for this episode. So I just want to give you an update. I know that you've probably noticed that the sound quality is progressively getting better. It really has to do with me figuring out how this sound equipment works and how best to manage it. So I hope you'll stick with me while I continue to learn about this process of creating these videos. So thank you for your patience with me. Thank you for spending your time with me. If you feel like it, hit that like and subscribe and the notification bell too. It really does help the channel. And leave us a comment. Tell us what you thought about the stories. Tell us if there's stories we missed. Link us to other Reddit stories. Or even stories that are not Reddit stories. We'd love to hear them. Alright guys, well thank you for spending your time with me today, and you have a great day. Okay, bye.